we're watching everything fall apart, whether it's gradual or whether it's speeding up or whatever it is. We're watching it fall apart because we have allowed so much disease into our society, and that disease is sin. It's allowed to grow. It's the same. If you don't know this, the story of Passover in the Bible. Traditionally they had to get all the yeast out. They had to clean out and get all the yeast and stuff out of their homes. Well, why did they do that? Because it was a physical representation of what sin is like. Because if you just take a mixture of batter, and it doesn't take a whole lot of yeast, a little bit of yeast can change that whole batter that you're making. And that's what sin is like. Sin, it corrupts and it grows. It's a disease, and we've allowed it into this country. We've allowed sin, we've allowed weakness, we've allowed corruption, we've allowed it into this country. And now we're seeing the wages for those sins. We've murdered tens of millions of babies. That's right, we have. This nation. Maybe not you, maybe you didn't support it, but this nation has done it. We as Americans have sat back and allowed it. It's true. As much as that you don't want to admit that we all sat back and allowed. We did it. We allowed sin to come into the homes. We allowed all of this disgusting stuff to corrupt our children's minds and our children's schools, even into the churches. That's the reason why this is all happening. In Proverbs 14, it says, righteousness exalts a nation. Yeah, righteousness. Nation that is righteous, a nation that seeks his righteousness will be blessed. And it goes on to say that sin is a reproach or a shame or a disgrace for any people. So any nation that allows sin to come into their borders. That not
bearers of America worship the Egyptian gods, they worship the gods of Babylon, and they worship the gods of the Chaldeans, and they worship the gods of the Greco-Roman Empire. So it's all pagan. For you shall no more be called the tender and delicate. Take the millstone and grind the mill. Remove your veil. Take off your skirt. Uncover the thigh. Pass through the rivers. And when he says take off the skirt, it's to uncover her sin. Because this nation, America, the whore that sits on the beast, she's nothing but a whore, a prostitute. She's filled with abominations. Your nakedness shall be uncovered, and the Most High, all the nations see the sin of America. Now, the only men who live in this land of Babylon, who worship the Most High, are the apostles and the prophets, who are breaking down these scriptures for all the brothers and sisters and the great multitude to have the understanding of what place that we're living into. That we live in today, which is a land of wickedness, the border of wickedness. So it says, yes, your shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not attribute with a man. As for our Redeemer, the Lord of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel, which is the Most High Yahweh, and his Holy Son, his first begotten Son, is Yahweh Shai. Verse 5, sit in silence and go into darkness. And that's what's about to cover America, darkness. Because the Most High is going to break down this place. He's going to break down the economy, which he's already been doing. He's going to cut off and destroy the Federal Reserve and all your paper money, all your 401 and your 401 and your pensions are all going to disappear like dust. He says, sit in silence and go into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for you shall no longer be called the Lady of Kingdoms, because she was the greatest evil nation on the face of this earth. Verse 6, I was angry with my people. I have profaned my inheritance. And he was angry. The Most High was angry with who? Jacob. Israel. Yasha'Allah, which means the princes, the judges of Israel. He was angry with us because the majority of our people turned their back against him. So he put a curse on us, and he made Esau and the nations beat us down. So in verse 6 he says, I was angry with my people. I have profaned my inheritance and given them into your hand. He gave Jacob to the hand of Esau and the nations. And what did they do to us? They put us in slavery. They beat us down. They put us in concentration camps. And they put the tribes on reservations. They put us in the ghettos, in the Cabrini Greens, in the ghettos around America. He let them just beat us down because of our sin. You showed them no mercy, which Esau never showed mercy to us. He persecutes us and oppresses us always. Like I said, he sent us to public schools. Why would we go to public schools for? To learn the language and to serve him, to be a slave to him. On the elderly, you laid your yoke very heavily, which he did. He has no respect for the elderly of Jacob. No respect. He beats us down, and you see what happened since the times of slavery and the times of when he put most of our people in reservations. They played games, they did torture, they put them in these camps and these institutions, and they let the native tribes, which are the lost tribes of Israel, they let them destroy each other. They put lack of food, lack of health care, and they destroyed our people. And they did experiments with our people throughout history. Putting poison in the water, poison over our neighborhoods. They've done many evil, wicked things in our neighborhoods, setting up liquor stores everywhere, and by other nations too. It's not owned by our own people, it's owned by other nations. They put liquor stores in every corner, and they put fast food restaurants. So most of our people have diabetes, have high blood pressure, hypertension, and they're very sick with these high fatty oils that they put in our food to destroy us. And they did many other experiments on our people. So verse 7, and you said, I shall be a lady forever, so that you did not take these things to heart. Now remember the latter end of them. Therefore hear, verse 8, therefore hear this now, you are given to pleasures, who dwell securely, who say in your heart, I am, and there is no one else besides me. I shall not sit as a widow. Really, that's a beautiful scripture right there, because it's talking about America is so proud, and she dwells securely from the East Coast to the West Coast. And she says in her heart, this prostitute, this whore, the Statue of Liberty, this prostitute who sits on the beach, I am. There is no one else besides me. She is filled with vanity. I shall not sit as a widow, nor shall I know the loss of children. And she's going to see the loss of children, because the Most High is about to start World War III with America. All the nations, Russia, China, the Arabs, they're all going against America with the Federal Reserve. China just started their own digital money. They're all getting away from the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve they're not gonna let this happen. Well, they're gonna let it happen. There's nothing they can do about it. But there is something they're gonna do. They're gonna start war. They're gonna start war with China. They're gonna start war with Russia, Iran, North Korea, and the whole Middle East. So war is here. Like I said, we have proxy wars has already been happening. Verse 9, but these two things shall come to you in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood, and they shall come upon you in their fullness because of the multitude of your sorceries. And this we're tying in with Halloween. Your government, your presidents, your senators, your Congress, they're warlocks. They worship Satan. They worship demons. That's why he says right here, because of the multitude of your sorceries, for the great abundance of your enhancements, because they go to these warlocks and witches to see what the future is. Verse 10, for you have trusted in your wickedness, you have said, no one sees me. Your wisdom and your knowledge have warped you, and you have said in your heart, I am, and there is no one else besides me. Because you have that God complex. Therefore evil shall come upon you. You shall know from where it arises, and trouble shall fall upon you. You will not be able to put it off, because the Most High is going to bring the wrath upon this land because of your wickedness. And how you're on the left-hand side, the light bearers on the left-hand side, and you worship Satan. And you're into all kinds of sorceries and black magic. And Halloween and these other, Halloween is like your favorite holiday, and also Christmas. And we'll break that down in the month of December. But all the holidays of America are wickedness and pagan. And he says, and desolation shall come upon you suddenly, which you shall not know. When this happens, millions of men will die in World War III. Your Army, your Navy, your Marines, and your Air Force. Verse 12, stand now with your enchantments and the multitude of your sorceries, in which you have labored from your youth. Verse 12, the Most High speaking to the United States government, saying that since youth they were brought up with their father and mothers into witchcraft. Perhaps you will be able
say to the world that, remember that we are human beings. I think that message, we're at a point in time where I can't believe that we're here.
So it's an oppression that's been going on for decades, so that's why people are angry. But it doesn't mean that people condone Hamas in the slightest, because being pro-Palestine doesn't mean that you're anti-Semitic, and I think that's really important to stress.
Of oppressed people all across the world. I believe in the freedom of all colonized people. I believe that Palestinians have been subject to 75 years of a brutal open-air prison system of apartheid. And I oppose injustice anywhere, especially as a black man in America. I understand how the black struggle is connected to the freedom of Palestinian people. So I'm all in favor of the liberation of Palestine.
Genocide. It's a genocide. They're just blowing up civilians.
Well, me as a black Palestinian children, dropping bombs on Palestinian hospitals as they suffer with terrible injuries from white phosphorus without any anesthetics or pain medication. But Israel has to get out of Palestine and they leave the whole land to Palestinian people, not only Gaza, all Palestine. They have to leave Palestine.
To be here more than honestly so many innocent people died. It's disgusting to see this be okay. See the people when our brothers and sisters die every day.
Palestinians need our voices to be heard because we are people and we are being occupied. And this genocide and ethnic cleansing is our day-to-day lives. This is not just now. This is not just tomorrow. This has been going on for years. For 75 damn years and we're done. Enough is enough. The lies need to stop. The killing needs to stop.
The biggest show of support yet for Palestinians amid seething public anger. Turkey's president put the number of protesters in Istanbul at 1.5 million and offered his strongest rebuke yet of Israel's attacks on Gaza.
Israel, you are an occupier. You are an organized gang. Israel is committing war crimes. The main culprit behind the massacre unfolding in Gaza is the West.
Powerful words from the leader of a NATO country, but they echo what people here have been saying as more civilians die in Gaza.
We are with our Palestinian brothers. We have come here so Palestinians know they are not alone.
We are soldiers. As soon as we find the opportunity, we will be on the front lines, not at rallies.
That call to action is echoed by some Turkish politicians. One provincial leader told Al Jazeera there needs to be a peacekeeping force from Muslim countries to save lives in Gaza. Another said Israel only understands the language of power, not words and resolutions. And a third criticized Muslim countries for failing to support Palestinians in the same way the US has backed Israel. It wasn't only Turks on the street. Foreigners living in Istanbul also joined the crowd.
But just calling for an end to this violence. But we all wonder, how is it going to end? And which is going to be the leader who's actually going to shut an embassy and make a difference? Having these rallies feels great, but it's controlled dissent. Where do we go now? And there isn't a Gazan tonight going yay for flags in Istanbul.
From Tehran to Amman, from Muscat to Kabul, public anger against Israel has been rising. More strong words from the Turkish president, but that's unlikely to have an impact on the sentiment in the streets of Turkey and other Muslim-majority countries where people are calling for not just rallies and condemnations, but actual actions that will help stop the violence. Sama bin Javed, Al Jazeera, Istanbul.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest
stage of their ground operation into Gaza. Okay, so a lot of the neighboring Muslim countries were mad about this. So I want to read to you what some of the major players in the region have been saying. So the president of Turkey said that Turkey is ready to declare Israel a war criminal. Okay? He said, "We will declare Israel a war criminal. We are already working on this." And at a massive pro-Palestinian rally today in Istanbul, the Turkish president said, "I reiterate that Hamas is not a terrorist organization. Israel was very offended by this. Israel is an occupier. The main culprit behind the massacre unfolding in Gaza is the West." Okay, so that is just absolutely crazy. This is a NATO country. Turkey's a NATO country, and its president is saying that Hamas is not a terrorist organization, that Israel is an occupier, and that the main culprit behind what's going on right now is the West. I mean, it's pretty scary because we have dozens of B-61 gravity nuclear bombs in Turkey, okay? So I think Turkey needs to be expelled from NATO, and I want to read to you